from sea to shining sea. And in this great land, as time has passed, we have many folk songs which describe our way of life during the years of manifest destiny that occurred in the late 1800s. Matt Hakes leads the Ridgeview Band as they perform Andrew Balin's piece, Marching Through America. I now have the pleasure to introduce to you Mr. Greg Suber. Mr. Suber has served our nation honorably in both the Navy and the Army. At this time, please give a very warm welcome to our veteran speaker, Mr. Greg Suber.
Thank you, everybody. Hear me okay? I can hear myself now. Couldn't hear you earlier. Thank you very much for the opportunity to come today. Matt originally told me I could speak here. I thought, I don't know what we talk about. There's a lot to talk about in this country. But I want to just tell you a little bit about myself. That's the best way to, I think, to honor my thoughts about Veterans Day. It's been important to me through the years. So let me just give you a little background. I'm a kid from Columbus, and I went through Whetstone High School. Had thoughts of what to do with myself, how to get my goals, and it became down to, wow, I could go in the Navy. So I'm going in the Navy. Props time. I go in the Navy. Graduated Whetstone High School in 1981, so I'm an old guy. But went into Great Lakes, Illinois, Chicago, did my basic training, went to San Diego, got on board at the United States Halsey, got a missile cruiser. Okay. No, let me back up. My goals: college funding, a trade, travel. I get there to Great Lakes, I go to San Diego, get on board ship, all of a sudden, hey guys, when are we going to take a cruise? Haven't you heard? We're going to dry dock for 2 years. I thought that was it, but no, I definitely got some travel. Hawaii, Guam, Philippines, Thailand, Hong Kong, Korea, Japan. So I've been around a little bit, and I'm so glad to have done it. That was the West Coast. Came back to Ohio State, started school, and made a little transition. My funding for college wasn't complete through the Navy. So I switched. But it didn't mean going to basic training, getting an extra job training. All it meant was sign out, sign in. You're in, son. That was great. I was pleased. I joined the helicopter attack battalion at Beetler Armory. Is Paul? Is that Paul? There he is. Paul still serves, and thank you. I see some other service people out here. But it was great. I got some training. I thought I'd be a pilot. Could still do it with glasses. No. Shift again. Air Defense Artillery. I met an officer in the battalion there. He says, we need some young officers. So I switched, and I went to Fort Bliss, Texas, for a year and a half of training in the tactical control officer role. Basically an air traffic controller, but you can just imagine, instead of landing planes, we're going to take them out. Again, I'm a kid, I'm 21, I'm a freshman, I've got wide eyes, I'm still trying to figure out where my civilian role is going to be, but I'm also looking at the military option. So, citizen soldier, when you combine those two things, I was 12 years in service. People say, why didn't you retire? Well, those 2 years of ROTC that made me a cadet and an officer, they didn't count towards retirement. So, got 10, had a family. I said, you know what, I think I'm good. But I still feel esprit de corps for all my fellow service members. So, I was promotable to a lieutenant, or I'm sorry, a captain, by the time I got out of the service, 03. I was done. I had my little daughter on the way. I said, you know what, I'm done. But the most important thing, when it gets down to it, is being a veteran. And what does that mean? That means a lot to different people. Okay? For me, it means service, honor, teamwork. Those are very important aspects in many things. Now, I played football growing up. I played some basketball. All part of my team aspect that I've taken with me through my life. But there's a lot more training that goes behind it that's helped get me to where I want to go. If I go too long. So, service. It's service to country. It's service to family. How many have people that have served in their family? Can you raise your hand? Thank you. Thank you. And some are still serving, I can see. I had the same. I had an uncle, a great uncle, who was killed in World War II in a tank. So let's not confuse Veterans Day with Memorial Day, okay? But they definitely tie together. The team aspect, again, growing up in Columbus, doing a little bit of sports myself, I felt so good coming into basic training, watching some of the other guys struggle that just had no clue about being part of that team. Growing up in Columbus, good old Woody Hayes had an impact on me. Wouldn't be until years later I'd actually meet the man the day before he died. But all part of your experiences in your life. So really the biggest thing is to honor. And I like to honor those fellow service members. Again, it's not Memorial Day, it's Veterans Day coming up. Let's keep those two things separate, but we know they tie together. Families, I urge you to go to Arlington Cemetery for that Memorial Day portion. It is amazing if you haven't been there. So many veterans have done so much, and they still are. There's that feeling of camaraderie that I still get when something happens in this world of ours involving our service members. I still feel it. But it's that feeling of camaraderie. It's that feeling of leading people, of training people, with people. What's the key word there? People. That's made them who they are. The veterans, that's made them who they are in their service. And some still do this in civilian life, and I thank you for that. So, what service members and what veterans mean to me, and it's hard to believe all these years later, it's even more poignant now, is the folks that went before me when I was in Fort Lewis, Washington, getting training, trying to figure out what branch that was going to be in the Army. Was it going to be aviation? Was it going to be armor? Was it going to be air defense? I had a Vietnam era trainer training me who kind of set it straight. So their mentors, their coaches, their teachers, that's what veterans mean to me. That's what Veterans Day means to me. You've got families involved. You've got veterans, and I'm sorry to say this, this is not a political speech at all, I'm not going there. But we've got to stand for our national anthem, okay? That's all I'm going to say about that. Because it feels good. It feels good to me. I'll always stand for it. It also means standing next to a veteran of World War II at an air show with a flyover during the national anthem. I had that experience and it brought me to tears. I didn't know that guy. But to be there with him at that moment, that was very poignant in my life. So I stand with all of my fellow service members and fellow veterans. You make it still part of the team for me. So in summary, when you break it down, it's life experiences. Again, I grew up in Columbus, got to California. Grew up, who else is old enough to remember Emergency, this TV show, and all the things you saw on television? I wanted to maybe be a firefighter after that, but all that Hollywood stuff, I got to see it from being a 19-year-old. And decided I'd better come back home, plant my roots where they belong. So again, it's all the parts. It's a summary of all the parts for me. It's the basic training. It's the travel around half the world that I'd never get to do again. But it's also that service and honor that I still feel to this day. And I hope all of you will continue to acknowledge those, because I haven't noticed up until the last 5, maybe 10 years. I got this hat for my kids, and I was, first of all, shocked. Like, wow, they do realize what it means. But when they wear it out, people say, thank you for your service. It means a whole lot more now than it did 10 years after the fact. So, thank you. Thank you, fellow vets. Thank you, fellow service members. Thank you, families. doing that service to them while they're gone? Is it service for this nation, for the people, of the people, for the people, and by the people? Thank you for having me today. I appreciate it.